Books 11 to 15. The Achaean counterattack. Patroclus, Achilles' close friend, enters the battlefield wearing Achilles' armor in an attempt to rally the Greeks. With Zeus's aid, the Greeks push the Trojans back, but Patroclus is killed by Hector. This event prompts Achilles to rejoin the fight, fueled by grief and a desire for revenge against Hector. Books 16 to 19. Achilles' wrath and return to battle. Achilles mourns Patroclus' death and is visited by Thetis, who persuades him to put aside his anger against Agamemnon and return to battle. Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, forges new armor for Achilles. Achilles reconciles with Agamemnon and prepares to avenge Patroclus' death by confronting Hector. Books 20 to 22. The death of Hector. Achilles and Hector finally meet in single combat. Despite Hector's bravery, Achilles kills him, defiling his body by dragging it behind his chariot. The Trojans mourn Hector's death, and his father, King Priam, comes to Achilles' tent to ransom his son's body. Books 23 to 24. Funeral rites and the end of the Iliad. Achilles allows Priam to retrieve Hector's body for proper burial. The poem concludes with Hector's funeral, marking the end of the wrath of Achilles. The Trojans lament their losses, and the Greeks honor the memory of Patroclus. The final book serves as a somber reflection on the consequences of war and the human condition. Book 1. The Wrath of Achilles. The poem opens with the wrath of Achilles, the greatest Greek warrior, who withdraws from battle after a dispute with Agamemnon, the leader of the Greek forces. Agamemnon takes Achilles' war prize, Briseis, causing Achilles to feel dishonored and enraged. Achilles appeals to his mother, the sea goddess Thetis, who asks Zeus to help the Trojans achieve victory as a means of honoring her son. Book 2. The Great Gathering of Armies. Agamemnon calls a council of the Greek leaders to discuss the situation. He agrees to return Chryses, his captive, but demands compensation from Achilles. Achilles refuses and the Greeks prepare for battle. Agamemnon tests the morale of his troops by falsely suggesting they should abandon the war and return home. Book 3. Duel of Paris and Menelaus. Paris, a prince of Troy, is challenged to a duel by Menelaus, the husband of Helen, whose abduction by Paris triggered the war. However, the duel is interrupted by the goddess Aphrodite, who rescues Paris and spirits him away to safety, thus preventing the conflict from being resolved. Books 4 to 7. The battlefield and divine intervention. The Trojans, led by Hector, gain the upper hand in the battle, driving the Greeks back to their ships. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, aids the Greeks, while Apollo supports the Trojans. Many heroes on both sides, including Diomedes and Hector, demonstrate their valor in combat. Books 8 to 10. The Trojans push back. The Trojans continue to press their advantage, breaching the Greek defensive wall. The Greek warriors are demoralized, and even Zeus contemplates the possibility of granting victory to the Trojans. However, Hector decides against launching a full-scale assault on the Greek ships, opting instead to camp outside Troy for the night.